I came across this book a while back, and it really intrigued me, so I picked it up. Games you can play in your head by yourself. Well, gee, Alex, isn't that like, just sitting around daydreaming? Yes, partially, but this book comes with a number of adventures, and they're kind of prompts, so you'll pick a particular adventure, like, I don't know, like trucks, for instance. And you'll have a certain route, the kind of truck you're driving. These things you're gonna decide yourself. But at some point, the book will say, "Okay, go. You're on your own now. Start your adventure." And then your imagination is already geared up to go head on into that in that particular adventure. And what's interesting too is that you can play this particular adventure multiple times, and it's still going to be different. It's always going to be a little different. And you can play it anytime, anywhere. Usually I'll play a couple of these games at night. Some of them are very brief. Others, I played one of these imagination games that lasted all week because things just kept happening. But usually I'll play it at night. I like to read at night or listen to a podcast, so I'll just close my eyes there and pick up my adventure where it left off. You don't have to start and end in the same session. Like I said, one of my adventures here lasted a week. I've done it even while driving safely, but you just kind of pick up where your adventure left off, and you do a scene or two in your mind. For those who are finding this very strange and weird, there's an exercise in here that does help you, helps trigger your imagination to work with these adventures here. And basically, I'm not going to do it justice, but basically, it's an exercise. You go into a sanctuary, but you leave your shadow self outside. So in the sanctuary, you look at everything in there and what's on the shelf and how it's, all the details you want. And then you come out and your shadow self goes inside. But you don't know what your shadow self is doing in there, When the shadow self comes out, you go back in and you realize that a lot of things have been changed in the sanctuary. Maybe something is missing. Maybe something is broken. Maybe something has been added. So it's a simple exercise, but it helps you trigger your imagination to play the adventures in here. And like I said, there's a lot of prompts, so you'll see pictures like in Dungeon, for instance. You have that drawing there, so you got this big building. You can imagine anything you want, but as you read the chapter for that particular adventure, you'll have a certain amount of prompts that will kickstart your imagination, and then off you go. So if you're into RPGs, if you're into storytelling games, if you're into imagining things, and it is a game. It is a game. As weird as that sounds, it is a game. It is an adventure. A game that you can play in your head by yourself. If you're intrigued, grab one of these. I think they're very neat.